Only children and the direction of Ivan Reitman can soften up a dude like Arnold. Kindergarten Cop was released in 1990, directed by Ivan Reitman and starring Penelope Ann Miller, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Pamela Reed. A tough cop must pose as a kindergarten teacher in order to locate a dangerous criminal's ex-wife who may hold the key to putting him behind bars. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason, and you're watching Backtrack Cinema, and welcome to my review of Kindergarten Cop. All right, guys, we're still continuing Arnold Schwarzenegger reviews, and after this one, there'll probably be one more to round out the month, and that will be Terminator 2. So end it with a really awesome movie. But this has been a lot of fun this month. But if you want to watch, the rest of the Arnold reviews, if you're new to the channel and everything, I'll put a little playlist up there, and you guys can click that to take you right to the Arnold Schwarzenegger reviews. So Kindergarten Cop was an absolute blast to watch when I was a kid. I was only like 11 years old at the time, so it really was the target audience for this movie at the time, blending action and comedy well, and Ivan Reitman does that so well. And Arnold I think is this one of Arnold's best roles. He really looked like he had a lot of fun on this movie. He looked like he worked well with the kids, all that kind of stuff. And him and Ivan Reitman coming off twins, that was it made a whole lot at the box office. It was a funny movie, blended action and comedy really well too. Two charismatic guys with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. In this one, Arnold plays Detective John Kimball, and he has to pose as a kindergarten teacher, go undercover, in hopes to find a dangerous criminal's ex-wife, in hopes the leading to this guy. And Arnold really is a fish out of water, and that's when he poses as a male kindergarten teacher. It's like, how often do you see a male kindergarten teacher, right? He goes on this journey. We go on this journey with him, and I really like how Ivan Reitman directs this. He teams up with partner played by Pamela Reed, and what happens is she gets sick, food poisoning, so he has to pose as the kindergarten teacher. And she's just a lot of fun. Pamela Reed steals a lot of scenes in this movie. She's entertaining, plays the character great. She's witty, she's funny, and she has this craving for food all the time and all that. She's just a lot of laughs in this. And Arnold really goes on a really good arc in this movie. And I think that's why we're there, when he's developed and we care about him and all that. And that's where it gets really emotional, especially at the end of the movie. This is a guy who's obsessed over catching this bad guy named Chris. He has sacrificed everything in his life to catch this guy. I mean, he's divorced. He never sees his son. All he cares about is catching this guy, and he essentially has no life, no friends. He seems to have nobody in his life at all.
Don't you have anything better to do?
You don't understand. I have nothing else to do, and I have nowhere else to go.
This is a guy who has this nothing to show for. He even says something later in the movie like how he hasn't seen his son in like 10 years or something. He has no relationship with his son. His son doesn't even care to see him and all that kind of stuff. And this is a guy who goes on a journey. When he starts teaching, he starts working with these kids. It starts off as just a job, but he gets really attached to these kids, and he's realized what he's missed out in his life. How, a cop is all he knows how to be. Catching the criminals, that obsession is all he knows. And he just falls in love with the kindergarten teacher. Joyce, played by Penelope Ann Miller, who is the ex-wife of Chris, this guy he's been chasing for so long. And he's missed out on everything, things that you live for, like love and, having children and having a relationship with your kids. And he's learned what he's missed out on. And there's a really great scene where he's, they say, okay, the kids want him to read story time, right, in the classroom. And he looks at the book, and this is a book he used to read to his son. And that memory just kind of like floods back, and he realizes what he's missed for so long. And he goes on that journey. And when he gives up being a cop, and at the end, after he saves the kids and everything, heals up, he comes back to be a kindergarten teacher, and he leaves the force behind. And it's so emotional with the music and everything like that. It's just a fantastic ending that even make the toughest guy weep like a baby, man. I swear to you, man.
Hi, kids.
Mr. Kimball!
I'm back.
Yeah!
This is another movie that has different tones jiving through it, but Ivan Reitman, does it so smoothly. It starts off as your typical Arnold 80s action movie almost. This is 1990, but it's filmed in the late 80s. And it starts off that way, with the cheesy one-liners. But once he starts posing as a kindergarten teacher, it's almost turns into this family kind of movie. Then it gets almost thriller-like when Joyce is on the run and Dominic, and she finds out that Arnold's not a school teacher and she's a detective trying to get to her to catch this guy Chris, and and tension ramps up and all that kind of stuff. And then the third act, it goes back to not so much over the top 80s, but just a really good thriller action movie. So it blends the comedy, the action, thrills so well. Ivan Reitman does a great job at directing this movie. And I've always liked Penelope Ann Miller as an actress. She always brings a certain warmth to her roles, but an intensity. I mean, she's been on the run from her ex-husband, Chris, the bad guy here. And, she doesn't want her son to know who he is, Dominic, and she'll do anything to protect that. And she brings a real great intensity to this movie that I really like. Now, it is a comedy for most of this movie, and Arnold with the kids is where all the comedy lands. And it lands really good, man. I mean, we all know the classic, it's not a tumor, and boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. And that's me, young Miko Hughes, man, doing the fist pumping. Yeah, he's great in this movie, man.
Boys have a penis, girls have vagina.
Love him in this. He's in Pet Cemetery and, New Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And you see Arnold just sticking up for these kids and everything. There's the one kid who's being abused and he punches the crap out of the father. And then there's the principal, Linda Hunt. Great character actress. Really like her in this. But Arnold really finds a way to get to these kids, to teach these kids, to control the situation, because they were running all over him in this movie. Now, the villains in this is a mother and son kind of relationship, where the mother is a really controlling woman. She's really the brains. And Chris, I didn't find he's the greatest villain. He looks like a dollar store version of Kurt Russell or something like that. No offense to the actor or anything. I haven't really seen him in anything else that I recognize anyway. The villain here was just kind of a big pretty boy with a lot of money and stuff like that. Drug money, obviously, I'm assuming. And the mother was the brains behind the whole operation, and he was just kind of a little weasel. I know he's set up that way and everything like that, but I just didn't like the villain. I just didn't think he was a great adversary to Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, John Kimball. I mean, you gave up everything. You got obsessed to catch a guy like this who you would think wouldn't be hard to catch. He's a weasel. He just weasels himself out of all these situations, and the mother's always bailing him out and all that. I thought the mother was more intense and more convincing than Crisp was. So the only really negative I have of the film is our main villain. And the score to this is really, really good. A really nice piano score that really sets the movie at the when it's supposed to draw out that emotion in you, when it's made to make you feel something. It really does, especially when that right at the end where I talked about that end where Arnold comes back and that piano score is going through it. Done by Randy Edelman. A name I didn't really recognize until I looked him up a bit, and he's done some really good scores that I really like Last of the Mohicans. He did Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. That's a really good score. He's Gettysburg. Gettysburg is a great score, man. So this guy has done some good composing, man. And so this score is a real standout. It's memorable. You'll go walk away from this movie humming this thing. If you really like Arnold Schwarzenegger films with that action and the comedy, but it's a kind of real departure from what he usually does. It was a breath of fresh air at the time. That and Twins, you know what I mean? And really at the end of the day, this is about a guy who discovers his purpose, what he really should be doing, how he falls in love with his school teacher and her son, and he falls in love with teaching. And who would have thought this tough cop would love teaching kindergarten kids so much, you know what I mean? And just, he's not making a difference as a cop, and he really makes a difference these kids' lives. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. You make a difference doing what you do, you know what I mean? Doing what you love. And I love this story, man. I think this is a great film. So on your next Friday night, guys, you want something different to watch from Arnold Schwarzenegger? Put on some Kindergarten Cop. I swear you'll have a great time. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and you will get the action. It's just a great blend of everything we love about the movies. I'm going to give Kindergarten Cop from 1990 a solid B. But what about you guys? Do you love Kindergarten Cop or don't you like it? Let me know in the comments below. We'll have a great discussion on Arnold and this film, Kindergarten Cop. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, if you like what I'm doing here. So this was a lot of fun, guys. I had a great time dishing this one out for you. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. I'll see you next time, and I will see you in the movies. Cheers.